If you've played the first Dragon's Dogma game that was released nearly 12 years ago, then you're probably already aware of half the things on this list. But if you're like me and missed the first game, here are 15 facts we know about Dragon's Dogma 2. I'll start off with a 2-for-1. The highly anticipated Dragon's Dogma 2 is set to release on March 22nd of 2024, and will be Capcom's first $70 game.
You can make big money as long as you let yourself make it.
The standard editions of the game for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam were all listed at $70, with the deluxe edition priced at $80. Increasing the price of AAA video games has been a hot topic for years now, and honestly, I get it. The video game industry has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry, and gaming prices have barely budged. Heck, Super Mario 3 on the NES was $49.99 back in 1990, which is like $120 in 2024 money. So video games have actually gotten cheaper, but I digress. The deluxe edition comes with the new Journey Pack, which includes a special camping kit, 1,500 Rift Crystals, Dragon's Dogma's Music and Sound Collection, a Wake Stone, Art of Metamorphosis, Harpy Snare Smoke Beacons, Ambivalent Rift Incense, a Heartfelt Pendant, and a makeshift gold key. I don't know what any of this stuff does or what makes it special, so if any of you know, let me know in the comments below. First of all, I don't recommend anyone ever pre-order any game. Pre-ordering is the devil.
Did somebody call for the devil?
I'm not going to beat a dead horse over it, so here you go. Pre-ordering the standard edition gets you the Superior Weapons Quartet. Pre-ordering the deluxe edition gets you the Superior Weapons Quartet plus the Ring of Assurance. What are these things, you ask? What do they do? I have no idea. Don't pre-order, people. Just don't do it. Dragon's Dogma is a single-player, narrative-driven RPG where you play as the Arisen. Again, I haven't played the first game, so from what I was able to gather from the Dragon's Dogma wiki, Arisen are those that have either been chosen or chose themselves to challenge the dragon.
Skinny little lizards like you thinking they the last dragon.
Apparently, he was a man. Or maybe he was a dragon man. Or maybe he was just a dragon. Or maybe he was
Burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants, and the Trogdor comes in the night!
Why am I like this? Basically, whenever this dragon decides to, they choose to like grub a human's heart and they become linked, and as long as the dragon lives, the Arisen live. But the Arisen can still die in battle though, so that's weird. For those of you familiar with the first Dragon's Dogma, and are hoping this is a continuation or will have anything to do with the previous game, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Producer Yoshiaki Hirabayashi has confirmed that while this sequel mirrors the world setting of the first game, the adventure takes place in a parallel world. I guess that makes sense as pawns come from other players' game worlds, so there's like a multiverse here?
What the hell does that even mean?
Listen, the lore in this game seems to be complete and utter nonsense, between Trogdor, fire-worshipping cat ladies, and Cyclopses trying to wash you off their asses. It feels all the better for it. Whenever a new open-world RPG comes out, we all just want one thing.
Give me that goddamn map.
But let's be honest with ourselves here, guys. Map size really isn't that important. I mean, you can have a huge map with nothing to do, and you can have a tiny map jam-packed with things to do. It's been confirmed that the map of Dragon's Dogma 2 is about 4 times larger than the first game. That map was about half the size of Skyrim's map. The general consensus is that Skyrim's map is about 37 kilometers squared, or 14.5 square miles. And feel free to correct my math here, but half of 37 kilometers squared is 18.5 kilometers squared, so 4 times that is 74 kilometers squared, which puts Dragon's Dogma 2's map right in the vicinity of Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, so it's a pretty big map this time around. I've mentioned pawns a few times now, and you may be wondering, what the heck's a pawn? Lore-wise?
I have no idea.
But mechanic-wise, a pawn is an AI-controlled companion who will travel with you throughout the entirety of the game. Players will have one pawn they create with their own vocation, which is what they basically call classes in this game. We'll get to that in a bit. You can also gear up your pawn however you like, and then that pawn will get shared online so other players can hire your pawn that's equipped with both the gear and knowledge that you provide to it. You'll then fill out the rest of your party by hiring 2 other pawns from the Rift, and the same way that your pawn shares its knowledge and experiences with other players, the pawns you hire will do the same for you. So in other words, if you're doing a quest that one of your hired pawns has already done with their Arisen, that pawn will give you hints and guidance on where to go and what to do for the quest. You can also set something called an inclination for your pawn, which means the pawn you hire from the Rift will have them as well. Think of them as personalities that directly affect how the pawn behaves in battle. Kind-hearted pawns favor a balanced approach with an emphasis on support. Calm pawns are more proficient with defense and evasion. Simple pawns are diligent about looting items, while straightforward pawns will attack enemies head-on. One new feature that pawns have in Dragon's Dogma 2 are specializations. So far, we've only been able to confirm 3. Woodland Wordsmith, however you pronounce this word, Logistician, and Hawker. Hiring a pawn with the Woodland Wordsmith specialization, say that 3 times fast, will automatically translate Elvish speech or text. Pawns with Chirurgian can use healing items on other pawns. Pawns with Logistician will take items from the Arisen when they become encumbered. We haven't been able to confirm what the Hawker does just yet though.
I snatched you right out of the air.
As I mentioned earlier, vocations are what classes are called in Dragon's Dogma 2. So far, only 10 vocations have been confirmed. Fighter, Thief, Archer, and Mage are the 4 starter vocations. Mage Archer, Mystic Spearhand, and Trickster are 3 hybrid vocations, and Sorcerer, Warrior, and Warfarer are 3 advanced vocations. When you create your Arisen and pawn, you can choose from one of the 4 starter vocations. Details are still murky on how exactly you unlock the advanced and hybrid vocations, but it is confirmed that part of that journey is completing a quest to find the weapons of those vocations. In Dragon's Dogma 2, you have to be careful when venturing out into the world. If the sun sets and you're not prepared, well, let's just say you'll have reason to be scared of the dark.
Oh boy, get on out of here with that I'm scared of the dark crap. Go on now, get!
I mean, you can make camp whenever you need to rest, but keep in mind that camping kits are heavy. Oh, and apparently if you camp too many times at the same campfire, you will attract monsters and you won't be able to take a long rest. You can indeed cook in Dragon's Dogma 2, and let me just say...
Oh my god.
I mean, just look at this. I'm really hoping that cooking is going to have some major benefits, but so far, nothing has been confirmed. Yes, you can destroy bridges. This is more of a public service announcement than anything else. Much like avoiding water, be careful when destroying bridges. It is absolutely possible to destroy a bridge that is your only quick means of getting back to town, making you have to trek a good 20 minutes to find an alternative route back across the river. If you're not familiar with Dragon's Dogma's vast world, you may be in for a surprise when it comes to the types of creatures you'll find in this world. From drakes to dulohans, talos and wights, knackers, minotaurs, griffins and goblins, skeletons, harpies, chimera and wolves, the list just goes on and on. What's even better is that you can grab onto larger monsters and climb them to get access to their weak spots, and the smaller monsters? Well, let's just say it's pretty funny to kill a goblin by chucking his friend at him. During the early access showcase, many experienced a moment where you can use this explosive barrel to destroy this stone wall, releasing a torrent of water to wash this Cyclops downriver. What we don't know, however, is just how scripted these moments are, or if there will be tons of areas that you can use the environment to your advantage. Only time will tell. Let's just get this out of the way now. You can't manually save your game. That combined with the lost gauge mechanic makes Dragon's Dogma 2 a bit of a survival game. Let Casey DeFreitas, deputy editor of IGN Guides, explain.
Every time you take damage or die, your health, you lose, your maximum health bar goes down. So even if you have all of the herbs and potions and health restoratives in the world, you can't get back up to max health until you do a long rest.
While fast travel does exist, it's not convenient. Let me explain. You can snag an ox cart as it travels from town to town, and then just sleep to skip forward to its next destination. Or you can just wait for an ox cart at specific locations within towns. There are also port crystals that can be activated in towns, but to teleport back to the town that you activated a port crystal in, you need to have a fairy stone, which apparently is incredibly expensive and rare. And that's it. Again, Dragon's Dogma 2 is releasing on March 22nd of 2024, and personally, I can't wait. Expect to see tons of guides and videos on this game, and I'm sure many of us will be deep in the trenches for months to come. But what about you guys? Are you planning on picking this game up? What has you most excited about it? Did you play the first Dragon's Dogma? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay tuned to ICE TV.